This is Little Bandology,
episode 5.
5 of season 2. We've kind of been away for a little bit of time, a few weeks actually.
Things got a little crazy there for a bit.
Bandtober hit,
in
full force, and it's not done.
Nope,
it's not done. Military bands typically don't go to a bunch of contests.
No, not really.
We go to an invitational that's sponsored by the National Association of Military Marching Bands. And it's a national organization that really only operates in Texas.
Yeah. There was an Arkansas military
Mena,
band.
Arkansas.
But I don't know that.
I don't know that they're still military, though. I don't know. That was back years ago. It was a long time ago. I remember seeing they came to a NAMBY contest. We used to have a NAMBY contest after all the marching contests were done. Sometimes even after state marching contest was done, we would have a National Association of Military Marching Band contest, and it was cool. It was usually hosted by Stephen F. Austin State University. We go down to Homer Bryce Stadium, and everybody would march and cheer for each other, and everybody would get their clock clean because the military standards were harder to live up to than the UIL standards.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough. If you got a 1 at NAMBY, that was a big deal. But anyway, so we did our NAMBY Invitational, went to Longview High School, and marched for that and got some good feedback and got a good clinic.
The next week, we went to our UIL contest.
UIL contest. And our UIL contest is a marathon of marching band. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and goes till 10 o'clock at night. However, this year we were battling the weather. We weren't actually battling the weather. We marched it. We marched at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was quite pleasant actually.
Yeah,
it was
nice.
But they had rain delays after the 4As finished before the 5A, 6As. And so I think the last band marched at like 11:30 at night or something like that.
11:45, I think, is when
marched. Talk about some awesome overtime pay for your judges.
Maybe not that late. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I was asleep.
I was too.
I was asleep by the time.
We sleep good after UIL marching contest.
Ain't no sleep like an after contest sleep. And I think that doesn't matter what state you're in after your big contest, your main contest. But our kids were successful. They did a very good job and came a long way in just a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And we have a relatively young band. We've said that before. It's mostly 8th and 9th graders with a smattering of juniors, barely any seniors or sophomores. Mm-hmm. And they did an excellent job. We were very proud of them. They got first divisions from all 3 judges, which means we advanced to the state military marching contest, which... Oddly enough, we're recording this on a Sunday evening, and we head down to Baylor University in Waco to march on. We leave Tuesday, and we march on Wednesday morning.
Yep.
So, and that's a fun trip, and the kids love it because they get basically a 2-day week.
Right.
We go to school Monday, and then Tuesday they go to a little bit of class because there's no reason for them to miss class, and then we leave, and then we get up and march on Wednesday, hopefully twice.
It would be nice.
They do have a prelim and a final. We just want their best performance, of course, that they can do. And then the judges can sort all that out. And then we come home on Thursday, and then we have a football game on Friday. Yeah. And with that comes lots of exciting things, one of which is we recognize our seniors, which is a whole big pomp and circumstance kind of thing.
It's kind of a big week.
Yeah. And then we also have our 7th grade band.
Yes.
Comes and plays with our high school band at the game.
It's Halloween.
And it's on Halloween. I just gave in this year. It's the first year I've ever done this. I told the students they could wear their costume to the game instead of a uniform. I am not regretting my decision. Yet. I have heard some of the costumes that are going to be presented, and it's going to be entertaining, at least for me, I think. But we'll do a little bit of our drill. We'll recognize our 7th graders for being there with us, but it'll be fun. We'll have a good time, and it's less about what we do at halftime and more about just having a good time and remembering that playing music and being loud and all that kind of stuff is a lot of fun. We even have some Halloween shorts. And by shorts, I don't mean like clothing shorts.
Right.
I mean like
Shorties
we have little short music things that we found online. Oh, God, I wish I could remember the name of the person who. But it was through the Facebook page, Middle School Band Directors, I think.
Yeah.
And this person offered up this music, and it's just little short unison one-liners, but like the Addams Family and
spooky, scary skeletons.
Skeletons. Yeah, I always say that wrong. and the Darth Vader theme, stuff like that. I think it's like 5 different ones.
Right.
But the kids, our high school band, we needed something to do to kill some time. And so we read those, and they read them really well. And we handed them out to the 7th grade so they can start working on them since we're going to be gone for 3 days. Hopefully when we come back, we can just sort of put it all together and see what happens.
Yeah.
But that is not what we're here to talk about on this particular episode. Last episode, we talked about beginning flutes or fluter tutors.
Right.
This episode, we're going to talk about Dem Bones, the trombones. My primary instrument, not always my favorite thing to play, but my primary instrument, so to speak. But we're going to talk about how we start them, sort of go through the little nuances that come with trombone playing. And actually, this year, my trombones may be one of my top beginner classes, which is strange.
Do you find, and I know my answer, but do you find that as your primary instrument, maybe that's not the best instrument you teach?
I don't know. It depends on the year. This year, I would say I am doing really well at teaching horn, like exceptionally well at teaching horn. But I also have 2 really smart kids. And so when I explain things, I don't have to explain things 10 different ways, which is kind of where my trombones are, too. When I explain things, I don't really have to explain it a million different ways. My trumpet class, however, which I don't think is extremely difficult to teach, is not cooking the way it probably should.
You're really getting into this Gen Z verbiage.
Cooking. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm bought in.
You're locked in.
I'm locked in. See, I'm already gone. I'm gone. I'm cooked. There you go. I try to use it on a daily basis, and I make sure I ask the students if I'm using it correctly. They are mortified, always mortified. So if you get the opportunity to play inside that vernacular of your students, please do it. It's fun.
We were at a party last night, and one of our former students, we both taught him, but like at different times. He was at that party too.
Yes.
He's much older.
He's a grown man now.
I think his mom said they're 26 now. He has a twin sister. I think she said they're 26.
I'm so old.
And I used some Gen Z verbiage, and he kind of like looked sideways at me when I did it, but he didn't like make a big deal out of it. I think he was just kind of shocked that it came out of my mouth.
I'm always shocked when it comes out of my mouth. But anyway, back to trombone, I guess. Yeah, I find that some years it is. This year, it's actually been kind of fun. I guess it's because I'm not putting as much stress on myself to say, oh my gosh, my trombones have to be killer this year.
At a certain place, by a certain time.
Yeah.
I'm doing that this year too. I'm trying not to like make myself
stress
accountable to a certain time frame.
Yes, and we're moving at a pretty quick tempo as far as conceptually moving from one thing to the next, and I've just tried to push them a little bit. We're not as far as probably classes that are just trombone. I guarantee you we're not.
Oh yeah.
But we're moving at a pretty quick pace. And also, our trombone class is the last period of the day, which if you're in a small school, that's when our pep rallies are.
Right. So those kids are just naturally behind because once a week,
it's either a Thursday pep rally or a Friday pep rally.
Right.
And so they miss out. Like this week, Friday, we will literally see them Monday.
Yeah, we're only going to see them Monday.
That's it. And so Monday is going to be a teach with your hair on fire day just to try to get them set up for the week, because on Friday we have our senior pep rally, which is the marathon of pep rallies.
Yeah.
In Beckville, they do a big dog and pony show for our seniors, and it's neat. It's fun to get to watch. I swear it gets longer every year, though. It's so long.
It's cool for the seniors.
But yeah, it's cool for the seniors and their parents. That'll be us next year. We'll be there, and Michelle will probably be crying.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast. But we are talking about trombones and starting trombones. I always try to start a pretty healthy number of trombones, simply because you never know what kid is going to grasp it.
Well, and we have a large dropout rate
for
our low brass kids.
We do. Our high school, we have 5 trombones this year.
And I don't know if it's like, I think it's because it's a largely male-dominated instrument. And in our school, we just don't keep a lot of boys in band because athletics it kind of rules in our school district.
It does. And when you're dealing with trying to find time to do things, it's tricky in a small school. And I think any person that's in a small school can attest to this. When you're told, okay, this is the time you have left over that you get to choose from, and it's not a lot. It's not a lot. Our rehearsal time is like Tuesday evenings, and some people don't want to go from football practice or volleyball game to another rehearsal that ends at 8 or 8:30.
Right.
But as far as trombones, I always try to get a good mix of boys and girls. This year I have one girl, and she is mom to all the boys.
Yeah.
She's the boss. But I have a mixture of ability levels as far as academically speaking. I did a nice smattering across the board because you never know which kid is going to pick it up, and they're all really picking it up and enjoying it. It seems to be. But the first thing we do with trombone is we deal with, and in addition to all the theory beginner stuff that we've talked about, but we do a lot of mouthpiece play. And the beginning, I literally get in my little rolling chair and I roll from kid to kid, and I place that mouthpiece on their face. And we talk about how that mouthpiece anchors to the bottom lip, just right below the bottom lip. That's where the pressure needs to be applied. And that's because the top lip does the bulk of the vibration for that instrument. And if you buzz, I'm not going to do it into the microphone, but if you buzz and you press your finger to right below that bottom lip, you're going to be able to continue to create a free buzz. If you press it to the top lip, it stops immediately. And I do that for the students so they sort of see how that affects their ability to make a sound. And then I will have them place that anchor. It also is a good place to have that mouthpiece so they can breathe with the mouthpiece not super far away from their face. Because I tell them that bringing in that mouthpiece hot and heavy to the face could lose a tooth if you're getting in a hurry. And so it's that way they can focus on the breath. They can focus on setting up that embouchure quickly and efficiently and getting the best possible result. A nice big meaty buzz. We do a lot of breathing exercises. I akin to the fact that, or sort of adopt the fact, I guess, that we're going to breathe out 2 beats of, I call it our stale air. And we just kind of clear the palate, so to speak. And then we breathe in 2 big beats, breathing in how, backwards, and feeling that cold air on the back of our throat, and then immediately setting and blowing out. Like there's no dead time between the in and the out. And for some students, that can be a little bit tricky. And I do that with all my brass kids. That's not just a trombone.
That's what
thing.
I was going to ask.
Yeah,
this is like the way you're talking about starting. This is probably the same way that you start every single brass kid.
Every single brass kid, they get the TLC mouthpiece time, and making sure that it fits on their face, making sure that they're consistent with the placement of the mouthpiece, making sure that they're consistent with the air, consistent with the buzz. With the exception of tuba, there's a little bit difference in tuba and a little bit difference in horn, but trombone, trumpet, euphonium, all of those are relatively the same in how we approach the beginning. Once they are able to do basic buzzing techniques, we've said before, we use Musical Mastery. It has wonderful buzzing pages that provide visual cues on things. But I also do visual cues with my hands. We're talking about holding a steady buzz. We start with 4, but we build it up to 8. We're now to 12, and that's how we start every class. They have their mouthpiece. They have their horn out after we've done with rhythm, but we do an 8-count buzz, steady buzz. We do a 12-count steady buzz, and we kind of add 2 beats after that because a 4-measure phrase is 16 beats, and so we're trying to get them used to holding all the way through that 16 beats as they're buzzing, so that way hopefully that will transfer to at least a little bit close to that when we're playing. We do, I call them zippers, where you're going up and you're buzzing up as high as you can. We do a fast zipper. We do a slow zipper because we're building those embouchure muscles. It's just like weightlifting for your face.
You're wanting to build flexibility.
Yes. And then we do a dive bomb, and I try to make that as exciting as possible. I'll do a big sound, big explosion sound at the end, where we start high and we go low. And then we do a variety of sirens where we go up and down. And at the beginning, we're going just to try to get them to make some kind of, I call it a hill or a mountain. Everybody kind of starts in a different place, with the goal being that we're all trying to create a mountain. And we're to the point now where we're doing slow build, where we might go up 2 and down 2, but everything is metered. In the beginning, we really don't meter it, because I want them thinking more about what their face and what their air is doing than how many beats they need to do it for. And I found that sort of works the best for me. It may not, but I am also not super type A. When it comes to teaching, I'm not. I'm kind of in the middle. I think there is some structure to a lot of what I do, but there's also some freedom and interpretation and approach that sort of goes with our students as well. And I think that if it's my teaching style well, and I hope you find somewhere in that realm that works for you as well. So after we have done our buzzing, and we do that for quite a bit of time, and this year we talk about going home and buzzing and making sure we do it. And we typically, I advocate for between 2 to 3 minutes of buzzing a night. But this year, thanks to this is the one that drives me crazy. It's right up there with Skibbity Toilet, the 6-7 business, 6-7. But we talk about practicing 6 or 7 minutes, and so that sort of hits a little bit harder for them, and I think that actually works a little bit better. So after we have sort of gotten into our buzzing and we're putting the horn together, this is where my type A kicks in, and I show them exactly how I want them to put that horn together every single time, because unlike every other brass instrument, we have more to put together. Mm-hmm. And typically trombone players, we are special people. All of us have some special form of ADHD. We go step by step, and I do it with them. I get down on the floor in my dress pants, and we get out the horn one piece at a time. We talk about the proper way to hold it. So when you get the slide out, there's a little side and the big side, and the little side, of course, is where the mouthpiece goes, and the big side, and we talk about the shoulders on how that goes together, and then you create a right angle with the bell and attach the bell. Something that actually I didn't learn until college, really, is when you're screwing your instrument together, you want to start backwards with the screw thread so you don't strip the thread. And so we go backwards. And granted, these horns we're allowing these kids to use are 30 plus years old. They're old instruments. They're well taken care of, but they are very, very old. We have them do that and put it together. The last thing that goes in is the mouthpiece. We make sure that the slide is locked before we stand up. And inevitably, the first time I have them do it by themselves, and every time they do it for about a week, I watch them like a hawk.
So listen, explain like the screw the thread backwards thing.
Okay, so you're going to twist it instead of just tightening the screw on. You're going to twist it backwards, but you're also going to apply pressure. Some trombones twist up, some trombones twist down. But so if it's twisting down, you're going to push down and screw it backwards, and you're going to go until you hear this little click.
You're going to feel it pop down.
Then you can tighten it.
And then you know that it's like actually on the thread.
On the thread the way it's supposed to be. And
I do that with my water bottles now, just so I know that my water bottle closes the right way.
Like the little plastic water bottle?
Yes, just so I know it's not going to like drip on me.
Okie dokie.
So we learned that in our, like Dr. Scott taught us that in our
She taught me that too, actually.
So she taught that in instrumental methods.
Shout out to Deb Scott.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
that is what we took away of all the things.
But I don't want my water bottles to drip, so I do that with my water bottles.
and you can have them practice with water bottles.
Yeah, there you
It'll
go.
be fun.
I know. Anyways, okay, so silly story, but go ahead.
Yeah, so we'll have them screw it backwards and put it together. We talk about how we walk with our trombone. There's a specific way we walk. We make sure that we are holding the slide with 2 hands, especially when we start. Now, let's be honest. Do I always? No, I don't walk around with it like that. I one hand the thing, my pinky goes underneath the slide, and away we go. But when we start, we hook both pinkies underneath the slide. We are holding it, and we are treating that like it is a hot plate of food. We're moving nice and smooth, getting to our chair and making sure that we sit appropriately with our horn. There's a couple of different ways that I have my students sit with it at a rest position. One is just sort of sitting up on the bells on the thigh, and the other one is just the straight up and down in front of them. I start with it straight up and down in front of them just because it's something that's easily uniform. We talk about holding the instrument. Trombone is something that you can have any instrument, you can have horrible hand position, but trombone tends to morph almost overnight into the most horrendous thing you have ever seen.
It's because it's painful to hold. Like,
yeah,
it hurts.
You're just a wimp.
It hurts my hand to hold the trombone.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I don't know. I think this is a shout out for the thumb gummies.
I don't know. Well, that's not the part that hurts though. If it hurts, so you're gonna do to hold the main weight of the instrument, and that happens with the left hand. I'll do it one of two ways, and you can adapt this however you like. You can hear Michelle drinking her water into the microphone, but it's not in a water bottle that can be screwed backwards. Yep,
yeah.
there's.
Sorry. I know I sound like a horse when I drink water.
So if you hear any gulp, 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 that's Michelle drinking water.
Sorry, I'm trying to meet my goal.
Yeah, we still have a little bit of time before the end of the day. And see, now I've been sidetracked. Oh, yeah. So
holding the trombone
with the left hand, the weight bearing hand. I talked to them about I am a graduate of Stephen F. Austin State University. We have the Go Jacks symbol, which is the thumb straight up, the first two fingers straight out, and the other two fingers curled around.
It's the state of Texas.
It's the state of Texas, and apparently one of your fingers points to Nacogdoches.
But not really.
Not really. I don't even know.
More points to Central Texas.
I don't know. But anyway, so you make the Go Jack symbol. Now, I've also had students that are like, as a vague, what are some other schools? And so we'll do the Red Raiders, Texas Tech, and that's just one finger. Either way is fine. The main thing is that you're supporting that weight with the left hand. The right hand, we do pinchers. We do thumb and two fingers, and I will have them do the pincher at me. And so I'll just have them sort of hold it up and sort of wave at me with their pinchers open and closed, and then they pinch the slide all the way to the left. And that's just where I have them do it. Now, if you are familiar with music teaching aids, they have a product, or they sell a product called a thumb gummy. It is for various instruments, for trumpet, they have a new one for clarinet, and they have a new one for trombone. I have a prototype that I gave to my 7th grade hotshot trombone player, and he loves it because I'm an old dog. That is not a new trick I want to learn, but we put it on his horn and he loves it. So this is something you can attach to the bar that's part of the slide, so that way they can grip it correctly every single time. It also has a little bit of a cushion, which I don't really know if it helps one way or the other, but it provides them with where their fingers need to go, and it's got little grooves where they can fit. It's a great product. They are a little bit pricey, but they're hardy. Like, they're very well put together. It's not something that's going to break. And his hasn't even popped off his trombone slide at all. And it was the first round of them, and I think they've been improved since. There's a little shout out to thumb gummies. But we'll have them grip it like that. Now, when they hold their instrument up, this is where it gets interesting, because we have the battle of you are the boss. Mm-hmm. And I make that speech. You are the boss.
And I think this is with any instrument.
Yeah, you are the boss. The instrument is not the boss. It is a piece of metal. It is only there for you to manipulate it and to operate it. And so you're going to bring it to your face, not your face to the horn, because they turn into little turkeys.
Right.
And I gobble at them. I'll go gobble, 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 and then they'll fix it. Sitting up really nice and tall with correct posture, which is something I'm not going to say we beat it into them, because that's abuse. I mean, but we remind them constantly.
Ad nauseum. Yeah.
I'm still reminding some kids.
Yeah. You have to say it over and over. You have to talk about it every day. Just know that you're going to be like, I don't know, something that repeats itself a lot.
A broken record?
A broken record. That's the word I was looking for.
That's not Gen Z. That's old school. That's the OG.
Yeah.
Not the Gen Z.
I just couldn't think of that word.
We bring it to their face, and the trombone, some people try to do an L with it sitting on their shoulder, and that just looks weird to me, and it doesn't look comfortable. And so I will go over and I will say, okay, you hold it, I'm going to move it, and I will turn it into a V. And so the trombone, that right angle, instead of being straight right angle like an L, it will be a V. So instead of L for loser, it's V for victory.
So like from their body.
From their body. And so it just sits a little bit more comfortable on the shoulder. It allows them to bring it to their face just a little bit easier. And they're not trying, it allows that hand that's holding the weight of the trombone to be a slightly more relaxed. And so they're not battling to hold the trombone up. And the trombone is not a heavy instrument. It really isn't. But to an awkward 6th grader, anything you can do to make it less awkward, the experience less awkward, is a good thing. From there, what we're doing is we do a lot of, I call it IPY-wipey. where I play and then we play all together. And we do a lot of pitch recognition for slide positions. We use sort of landmarks. We always start with a concert D. And the reason why we always start with a concert D, it's in the middle of the 5 notes. So you can sort of play choose your own adventure when they get that D. If you've got a kid that can't play E flat and F, they can go down the horn as opposed to going up the horn. And if you're in a small school and you don't have as many players, you can do that. If you have 25 trombones, obviously that's not going to work so great for you. But we'll start with concert D. It allows them to have their arm out. It gives a little bit more stability to the instrument, and it's outside of first position, so it's exciting. They find that exciting. Now, that excitement wears off real quick, so you gotta capitalize on it while you can. But it allows them to begin to listen and tune without you saying, okay, we need to make sure that we're tuning our concert D here. We need to make sure that we're adjusting it. You can just say, does yours sound like mine? And they say, no, I'll go, make yours sound like mine. And so they're basically tuning to me as I'm going down the row. And we are very big advocates on listening to your children individually as much as you possibly can. Yes, it will take time away from building that technique. But for us, that's really a second semester thing.
Yeah, we are advocates of building tone qualities number one. That's our number one priority. And technique will build itself.
It will. And you're building muscle memory. With a trombone, we tell them there are only 7 positions. That's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. I used to say there's 80 positions. No, there's an infinite number of positions. And the reason why there is an infinite number of positions is because everybody is different. The biology, how you're constructed, how your mouth cavity is, how your face adjusts the horn, how your instrument sits, your instrument itself, the weather, how you felt that morning, what you ate for lunch. All of those things factor into where your concert D, pretty much any note on the horn, is going to be. And you have to be able to listen. You play a huge tuning slide. Do I tell the kids that? No, because they would put up the horn and that would be it. They would be done. We sort of trick them into playing that game of matching with their neighbor.
When you have the match, are you having them move their tuning slide?
No.
I mean, not their tuning slide. Are you having them move their slide to match? Okay.
Yeah. They can adjust. They adjust with their slide. We talk about how there are different parts of the arm that are in trombone playing. And this is something this year we really haven't just gotten as much into because they've just kind of picked it up on their own. But you have the full arm itself. You have from the elbow to the fingertips. That's part of it. You have the wrist, which can adjust. And then you have the fingertips that can adjust. And we talk about which one is the appropriate part of the arm to get the note the way it needs to be or to get the slide to where it needs to go. And sort of helping doing that is we do a lot of back and forth we do Aaron fingers where we will sizzle and move the slide. We will also do naming notes and moving the slide. You want to talk about seeing kids get frustrated?
Yeah, that one gets us too.
Oh, man. But wow, when they can do it, they can do anything because they're multitasking at a very high level. Mm-hmm. And we even have a couple of special needs kids this year that can do it without a problem.
Right.
Students that are behind in reading or some word recognition or phonics, but putting that arm to note name, they can do it. And it's helping those other shortfalls in other classes.
When you do that step, do you try to have them audiate the note? Or is it just saying the note?
Right now, we're just saying the note. We'll get to humming.
Yeah.
Once they have, and right now that class especially, we do that with horn from the very beginning because horn is just such a tricky little devil of an instrument. To get that anchor point in, but the trombones we'll start with just saying it back and forth, and then we'll begin to hum it. That'll be the next step that we do with those 5 notes, and we spend a lot of time with just 5 notes.
Yeah,
we really do because moving from first to third position is tricky. Fourth position is tricky. First to sixth, I do not tell them it's hard.
Right.
I don't say anything is hard.
Don't ever tell kids it's hard.
Band in and of itself is ridiculously difficult. And I tell parents this, nobody in their right mind should be able to do anything we're asking these kids to do. But kids will do what you ask of them.
Yep.
Because most children want to please not only whoever is in front of them teaching, but themselves. They want to have a level of satisfaction from what they're doing. And everybody, regardless of how good they are, can have some satisfaction and success with their instrument. I believe that. I don't believe that necessarily happens every day.
No.
Because there's some days where I go, what am I doing? I must be the worst teacher alive. Guess what? Everybody has those days. And teaching trombone, some days are like that, where you go, either I am clueless or they are clueless, but something is not, we are not firing on all cylinders, people. That's okay, because it allows you to regroup and try different approaches. But that sort of gets us into our exercises. We use the musical mastery pages. We play for each other. If I have a student that's doing well, I will have them be the IP, and I will play with the class, and they love that. They love to show off. And even the student who maybe isn't going to do it 100% perfect, I make them feel like $1 million even if they don't play it perfect, even if they have a problem.
Find something that they are doing well, because every kid needs to hear something positive.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that positive may be, man, you're holding that horn so good. Right. Man, I love how your feet are flat on the floor. Man, that posture is $1 million.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. How often do you play for your kids?
Every day.
It's so important.
I play every day. And my last period class is horn, trombone, and tuba. And every day I'm going to play horn, trombone, and tuba. Your kids need to hear good sounds on their instruments. And if you don't make a good sound, practice.
Right.
It's all in there. Your undergraduate methods classes have not failed you. And that's coming from a person who was horrible at saxophone. Absolutely horrible at saxophone.
That's why he doesn't play saxophone.
That's why I don't play saxophone. But if I had to teach it, you better believe I would have that saxophone out practicing my little took-us off. So those students, because eventually you want them to pass you.
Right.
And typically it's not in the 6th grade, although I remember teaching clarinet one year. Oh my gosh, it was early on. And I had to practice to keep up with my kids because they were moving so fast.
And if you can't, like if you know that you cannot make a good sound, have one of your older students do that for you. Like have a hotshot clarinet player come and play for your kids, have them play along with them, or have...
if you have student assistants, that is a great thing.
It's a great thing for them.
A great thing.
I used to have, I make a really good flute sound, but, we have a great senior flute player, and I used to have her come in and play with our beginner flute players all the time. They love working with those older kids.
Oh, and the older kids love being the superstar.
They do.
They love being the superhero.
They love being the person that those younger kids look up to.
But if you can't do that, there is nothing wrong with a good old YouTube video.
Yep. Find a video.
And I try to find interesting ones that are a little bit different just to show them the different facets of the instrument. Sometimes that backfires. Sometimes it does. But
maybe screen it before.
Yeah, I do screen the videos I show them. Okay. But then they go, I'm going to try to do XYZ. And then they come back and they go, Mr. King, I learned how to do that. And you're like, oh, okay. And you don't want to tell them, shame on you. Why did you do that? And then they show you and you're like, oh, that's great, little Timmy. Good for you. Even though it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Right.
There's a lot of good demonstrative videos. Demonstrative videos.
I don't know if that's the right word.
I don't know, but it makes me sound smart. I'll use it. Demonstrative videos online that you can use if you just spend a little bit of time, searching YouTube. That, in a nutshell, sort of is how we start trombones. I love teaching trombone. It is a fun instrument to teach. We have an exceptional class this year of trombone players. But I do have something that has kind of followed me the last probably 3 or 4 years. I always have one beginner, and I guess I should tell parents this at the beginning of the year. One of your children is going to break their arm.
Oh, yeah.
Every year. I have a trombone player that breaks their arm or their wrist. And sure enough, last week I had one who currently is first chair. And how we do chairs, very quickly, is in the fall, we do not put them in order. We only give a first chair for that section. And the reason why is because if you're a beginner and you're just starting and your last chair, every chair test for a whole 6 weeks, you're going to stop trying. And so we just give a first chair and we give a sticker. They get to put it on their notebook. It's got our logo on it. I mean, it is cool.
If you get first chair 5 times, then you get a brag tag, and you can hang it on your case.
And then if you get a 10, there's a 5, a 10.
5, 10, 15, 20.
I don't know. However many you want.
Maybe a 25. I don't know how many of those we got.
I don't know. Go on to Premier Music Teaching Aids, and
you can get those there.
Yeah, you can get them on there. They're awesome. We love them. They'll hook you up. They're awesome. Yeah. And so this was a first chair kid. He came in, and it was in a sling, and I went, "Great, that is fantastic." And I said, "How did you break your arm?" And he said, "Playing soccer." And I said, "Buddy, you're supposed to kick the ball. That's how you play soccer." And he was like, "Oh, that's what my dad said too." And instantly, I just liked his dad, and I've only met him once. Beginning of this week, and he didn't have to have a full arm cast. He just has a wrist brace thingy. Okay. It's a slight fracture of the wrist, and so he came back playing and was even with a week off was doing great. And I said, "Well, did you buzz like I told you?" And he said, "Yes." And I was like, "Wow, the kid actually listened. That's exciting." So that's my curse is if you play trombone for me in your 6th grade year, one of you is going to end up with a broken bone somewhere down the line, and it's going to have nothing to do with band. That is how we deal with our beginner trombones. And so hopefully next time we'll sort of delve into another instrument. However, this is sort of a teaser. We have a very interesting topic coming up. I'm not sure what episode it'll be. We'll probably try to record it maybe over Thanksgiving break. Maybe. We have a very, very good friend of ours who is an administrator, assistant principal at a local middle school, who decided this year, and she really does think outside the box, and decided this year she was going to join 6th grade band so she could better understand the atmosphere. She is not a band person. She was never in band. Now, her husband was in band. All of her children have gone through a band program, but she had never done it, and so she did it. So we're going to have a little talk with Dr. Nikki Driver
about her experience
and
being in a band,
and sort of that'll be one episode coming up. That may be a holiday episode. I don't know, because that'll be the only time we can meet up to do it is over a holiday. But we're looking forward to that, and I hope you will too. That's something we don't get to really see very often as an administrator, going out of their way to dive into that culture that is our precious band world that we love so much. So that being said, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you tuning into this episode about the beginner trombone, and we will see you next time.